Friday here at Spiegelmom Scraps. So for this project this week, I decided to tackle the challenge by Lisa Kingston that's on the Spiegelmom Scraps Facebook group. And I'm going to use these Dazzlers in Tutti Frutti and Barely Blue. I'm going to use a really kind of neat technique that I found it's a video by Missy Whitten for shimmers, and what she did was she put her shimmers Dazzlers through a stencil and then wiped them with a baby wipe, and it gives them this really light, very subtle look, but absolutely gorgeous. So the challenge by Lisa was, it has a number of parts to it. The first part is there's a sketch. So on the sketch, which I posted at the beginning of this, you'll see there's like a little bit of mixed media in the background. And I decided to use this technique to do that background so that it's subtle and so pretty. And then by using the blues and the pinks, those colors came from the mood board. So I chose the sketch, and then for the mood board, instead of going with the exact colors that are in the mood board, it's like this turquoisey blue and a really bright pink. I went with a little bit more of a cornflower light blue color and the pink. But from the mood board, I also took inspiration from the images. So there were castles and some like French macaroons or macarons and different things like that. So I took some inspiration from the images in the mood board to help me create my layout. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm creating this background, and I love how this turned out. It's really subtle, really kind of smudgy and cool, and I really like it. I think the only thing about it is my stencil. It's not a 12 by 12 stencil. It's a Tim Holtz stencil. It's called a doily stencil, and I really do like it. It's beautiful, but I end up with these hard lines where the stencil ends, but I'm going to fix that. And you'll see how I'm going to do that in a little bit here. So something else I did was, for certain areas of this mixed media background, I went ahead and let the Dazzlers mix together. And they created this shade of not super purple, but like a bluey purple. And I love how that looks. And I love how the colors blend into each other. So now here you see where those hard lines were. I took a baby wipe on the inside and just smudged the Dazzlers into each other so that it did look like they all kind of blended together. And then on the outside edges, I added just a little bit, tiny little smudges of more of the Dazzlers, so it gives it a real kind of painterly, kind of smudgy feel along the edges. So there's not those harsh lines, and the background can kind of blend into the background paper. And so then I just went ahead and I left everything kind of dry and get good and dry before I started the next part of my layout. So this is Vibes color. It's called Cold as Ice. It's brand new and I love it. It's so pretty, and it worked perfectly on this layout with that blue color, and it will also work fabulous in the winter when I want to do snowflakes. So in the sketch are two pictures. The pictures are 4x6 and 3x4. Well, for my layout, I have 4 2x3 photos that I want to use. And so the way I'm going to tackle that part of the sketch is I'm going to cut one block of paper at 4x6 and one block of paper at 3x4, and then I'm going to build my photos and make them almost like project life cards type ideas, so that I can fit 4 photos onto my layout, 4 of these small photos, but still keep to the bones and the design of the sketch. And so now I have to apologize a little bit because you're going to watch me go ahead and put these cards together with my photos, and then there'll be a break, and when you come back, my layout will be, well, quite almost done, because what happened was part of this challenge is the theme was a bucket list, And while I don't necessarily have anything written down or a bucket list, I have always had a dream of going to France and touring French castles. I'm a huge history buff. I love history. I love French history. I think it's beautiful there, and I would love nothing more than to be able to go to France and tour castles. So I went ahead and wanted to put the names of the 4 castles of the pictures that I have, but the names were saved on my iPad. And so I took my iPad down because I record on it, and I put the castles names on, and then I put the iPad back up to finish recording and didn't hit record. So I am just super happy that I did realize what I had done before I was finished with the layout. So what I did was I punched with my Creative Memories border maker the punches and the strips of paper, and I got my photos down with the names of the 4 French castles. And then I titled the layout, I Dream of French Castles. And here you'll see me kind of pointing out what I did off camera when I thought my camera was on, but it wasn't. So that's kind of like my bucket list, or my something I want to do very badly is I would love to go to Europe and tour French castles. So, hey, there you go. And now the other part of this challenge was that we had to have 3 specific embellishments on our layout. So right now I'm going to go ahead and go through and address those 3 embellishments and make sure I have them included onto my layout. So the 3 embellishments were banners, and I used the banners at the top of the photo. And now I'm going to get a doily. These are from the Spiegelmom scrap shop. And I'm going to use one doily and cut it into 3 pieces because I'm stingy with my doilies and I don't want to run out. And I'm going to place them at 3 different areas on this particular layout. Now the third part of this challenge is to use sequins, which so easy. That was the easy part. So now, after I get my sequins on, I will have all the different parts of this challenge. So I used the sketch, I used the colors in the mood board, just some different shapes, and I used the mood board to help me decide what I wanted to do my layout about. And then I have my banners and my doilies, and the sequins are going to come in last. So the Tutti Frutti shimmers, the Barely Blue shimmers, the doilies, and then the sequins, and then I will also add one more little thing from the Spiegelmom scrap shop. So now I'm just going to go through and I'm going to create little clusters of embellishments around my layout. I did veer from the sketch just a little bit. I changed my title placement, and I'm adding quite a few more embellishments than what is on the layout. So I fussy cut some flowers, some more of those cornflower blue paper from oh my goodness, the flowers from the paper. Wow, tongue-tied, huh? And now I'm going to place some black and white puffy stickers. So below you will find a link to all of the products from the Spiegelmom scrap shop that I used on my layouts. The paper and the other things are from a Felicity Jane kit. It's the Happy Days kit. And that's where I got all of my paper, all of my puffy stickers, everything. My last little thing I'm going to do here is to look for some sequins. I decide that the Spring Bloom sequins, that pink color in that sequin mix went really well with the colors on my layout. I did audition quite a number of different sequin mixes, but that was the one that in the end worked the best. So while I was putting these sequins around, I was not liking the castle part of my title at the bottom. I felt like it was kind of floating. I had moved it around and pushed it up and kind of fidgeted with it, but the whole time I was kind of putting these sequins down, I wasn't liking where it was. I felt like it didn't seem like it was part of the layout. And part of me kind of felt like my layout was really embellished already, so I didn't know that I wanted to add anything. I definitely didn't want to add anything that was going to provide a lot of visual weight. So you'll see me here. Here I am kind of messing with those letters and kind of pulling them up, trying to make them more part of the layout, but that really didn't work. I felt like it had to be touching something, but I wasn't quite sure what. And I felt like it was maybe getting a little lost. So then after I have my sequins where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and grab my glue dots and start gluing my sequins down. And while I am gluing them down, I'm going to come up with a game plan to fix my title so that it is much more cohesive and part of the layout. And the way I'm going to fix that is with my very favorite embellishments ever, felt clouds. I figured they worked really well because my title is I Dream of French Castles. And let's face it, dreams, clouds, it goes, right? Right? Totally goes. So I went ahead and I'm going to move them around a little bit and kind of decide where I want them, but I'm going to end up putting them in 3 different places. And even though there's not a lot of visual weight on those clouds, I think that the finished layout, your eye kind of can travel around the page a little bit better with those breaks or with those clouds, and I think you can really see where all of the embellishment, it makes it cohesive, very cohesive, and I really, really like how those clouds turned out. So that's where we're going to put those clouds, at the 3 places that you see them now, and I'm just going to adhere them down. So I adhere them down just with some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive in a fine line bottle, and I find as long as you don't try to the glue will kind of squish through, but as long as you don't put anything on top of your layout for a little bit after you put the glue down, it tends to dry well, and the clouds stay really nice. I also really like to adhere them with staples, but again, I really almost wanted these clouds to blend in the background more than really be prominent. I didn't want to add the extra silver of the staples. So this will be our finished layout. Be sure to check the Facebook group for the challenge. You can find it at the top. It'll say View Pin Post. Have a lovely day. Bye.